second attempt at this, but this time I'm doing it with audio, which is definitely better. We're going to create a simple bolt and a nut in on shape, and we're going to do a 1-inch bolt and a 1-inch nut with 8 threads per inch. Okay, so I'm going to call this nut and bolt. And I'm doing them really big because I really want to apply these threads to the inside of our rocket bodies so we can screw those motors into place. And I also want it to be big enough to print so I can check it. I just printed a really small one, and it was so small I'm not really convinced that the printer did a good job with the threads being so close together. Okay, so what do we do? Well, nuts and bolts, first and foremost, have tops that are hexagonal. They're 6-sided. So let's right off the bat start a sketch on our top plane and grab the inscribed polygon tool and draw a 6-sided polygon. Well, now listen, our hole in the middle is going to be 1 inch. We better make this thing, gosh, why don't you just go ahead and make it 2 inches? Just make it nice and big, right? And oops, and then, so get to 6 sides and click on it again. Grab your dimension tool, and from the top to the bottom, I want it to be 2 inches. Oh, I got pretty close by accident. 2. Okay. Now, there's our general shape. Let's save that general shape, and let's extrude it. Let's see, it's 2 inches. I don't know, maybe I'll just come up 3/4 of an inch. I don't want to do a full inch. 1/2 inch. I'll do 3/4 of an inch. Extrude, I'll do an extrusion of 3/4 of an inch. 3/4 of an inch. And accept. Okay, there's the head of our bolt, right? And so, well, first and foremost, if you ever look closely at a bolt, they have this general shape, but they're not. They're all rounded at the edges because you don't want those corners cutting into stuff you screw into. Right, so let's take care of that by doing this. Let's go sketch on this surface, and let's grab our circle tool, and let's do an inner circle. Just get it close to the outer diameter there, and then go to your tangent constraint and constrain that to be tangent with that. Make it the exact size. Okay, good. Another circle just has to be bigger than all the geometry. Another circle just has to be bigger than, it doesn't really matter, just bigger, like that. And let's accept that. Now watch this little trick here. If we zoom in and we select these areas, that little area, we can cut these at an angle. Just all these little funny shapes right here. And also choose the circle. Now watch this. You go to extrude and remove material. You got to fiddle with it to get it right. Oh, let's go to draft by some number of degrees. Like let's go 60. That's very common. Right? 60 degrees. I click outside of that so I can see what it looks like. It previews it for me. But if I do that cut now, it's going to cut 60 degrees in, and all I'm left with is that pyramidal shape there. So let's not do that. Let's flip this around. That's what I'm after right there. See, I'm cutting at a 60-degree angle down across that face to the outer circle, to that distance, right? And the angle is 60 degrees. Right? So that's good. Boom. We can then quickly do it to the other side too. Boom, sketch, look right at it. Let's see, circle tool, tangent to here, and then a bigger circle. Same thing. I'm doing the same thing, same exact thing on the other side, right? And I say that's okay. And I select these interesting little shapes here. Select these interesting shapes. Oops, I got that line. That's not good. Get rid of that. Get that thing right there. Yes. There we go. There. Extrude all that. Removing material. Doing a draft cut at 60 degrees. Clicking outside of that box so I can get a preview of it. Again, it's just going to cut the wrong way, so I'm going to flip the cut that way, and I'm done. So there's our head. That, believe it or not, that's the hard part. Okay? Now, listen, you're all going to have to do this. I had to do it earlier. It's right there for me now. But you're going to have to go into add custom features. It's probably right up front of yours. add custom features, choose it, and then search. And search up thread creator, one big word, search it up. And I chose this one here, thread creator. I'm not going to choose it again because I already have it installed, right? But choose this right here and it's going to show up in your toolbar. So thread creator, start, boom, choose that. I'd be curious to play with these different versions, V2 versus these starts. I just don't know what all these different things are. Right? Oh, V4 is in progress, I see. So they're working on that. I chose this first thread creator one, and it seems to work really well. So I did it already, so I'm just going to X out. I've got it right here, thread creator. But before we get to that, I just wanted to say, please do that part. Now, let's go to the bottom of this thing. And I think we're 2 inches across here. We said we're going to do a 1 inch. Yeah, we said a 1 inch, yeah. So let's go ahead and sketch on this surface with a circle. And let's just go, I think 1 inch is what I said. Yeah, 1. Let's go 1 inch. And Shazam. And while we're at it, why don't we just extrude it 1 inch? Extrude, add material 1 inch. That seems a little short, huh? Let's go 2 inches. Okay, and accept that. That'll be better. So still kind of short and stubby, but that's okay. That's okay. We're just really practicing with the threads. Let's accept that. So that looks good. I mean, you know, ideally it'd probably be longer in reality to have a longer shaft there, threaded shaft, but we're just playing with this to get the threads right. We're not actually going to use these bolts to bolt anything down. We're just getting our methods and approaches right to dealing with threads. But now our methods and approaches are much easier because we just click on thread creator and you get this, right? And so this is the American standard. We'll go with that. You can also do metric, but let's just go with standard. What face do you want to thread? Well, that one, right? Number of starts, 1. Fully threaded, sure. Pitch, no, it's too tight. Let's go 1/8, right? That's what we said. We're going to do 8 threads per inch. So they're 1/8 of an inch each. I'm going to click outside of that, just see what it looks like. Oh, is that what it was, 0.125? I think it was already that 1/8. I guess that's 1/8 right there, right? So there's some threads. Guess what? The bolt. It's done. Okay. Well, let's do a nut that will accept those threads, at least hopefully. You know, that's the theory, right? So here we go. I'm going to rename this while I'm here so I don't get confused. We all know that happens real easily. Rename. I'm going to call this the bolt. Very good. I'm going to add a part studio. I'm going to, right off the bat, I'm just going to call it the nut. Rename. The nut. Okay, guess what I'm going to do? Same exact start. So let's be quick about this. Top plane, sketch, inscribe polygon tool, 6 sides. Let's see, we were 2 inches across, so let's just go 6 sides. And dimension tool is right here. From here to here, we're doing 2. There it is. And I will accept that. I will extrude it. I don't remember how much we extruded it. Was it 1/2 inch or 3/4? Doesn't really matter that much. Let's extrude that. And I think I did 3/4 of an inch, but it doesn't really matter if they're slightly different. Doesn't matter one bit, really. I'm going to extrude that by 3/4 of an inch. Looks kind of like a nut, but not quite. So same idea here. We have to sketch on this face and sketch on this face and grab our tool, our circle tool, go out, make a tangent to the edge there, and grab another one that's bigger, go to there, accept it, go in here and choose all these little regions that we want to cut. Make sure you're just getting these shapes here, not that inner circle or anything like that, just that triangular top with that curved bottom there, just that and there. And then choose the outer one as well. Extrude that. Let's remove material. Let's do a draft cut, 60 degrees. And I think we had to flip direction. Let's see if we got it right the first try this time. Yes, we did. Removing 60 degrees. Yeah, we're good. See how we're cutting that? Otherwise, if this was a metal bolt or a nut and you're screwing it onto a surface, those corners would be interfering with the surface and scraping up the surface. But as being curved away, they're not. They're not, right? So very quickly to the other side, same thing. Start a sketch on that side. That's the bottom. And a circle that's tangent first. A circle that's tangent first, here to here. And then a second circle that's bigger by any arbitrary amount. Accept it. We'll go in and choose all those funny little shapes again. 1, 2. The outer circle as well. Backing off. I'm going to extrude it. I'm going to remove material. I'm going to draft cut 60 degrees. This is the last time we have to do this, don't worry, 60. And I'm getting used to this now, so I'm confident that I got it right. I just did it a bunch of times. There it is. All right, so there's our nut. Okay, let's look right at the bottom, and let's think about this. We made a hole. We made a 1-inch hole in the bolt. Sorry, the bolt is 1 inch thick. The bolt is 1 inch thick. So this has to be more than 1 inch, this hole, because otherwise it's way too tight of a fit. So let's sketch on this face, and I'm going to just draw a circle. And I'm going to do 1 inch, I don't know, plus what? What do you think, a 16th? So 1 plus 1 over 1/6. Right, that's a 16th of an inch bigger than the threaded bolt that's going to come into it. So let's go with that. Right, so 1/16 of an inch bigger, and let's just do that, and let's just choose it and cut it. Remove material. 1 inch will certainly do it, right? Because it's only 3/4 thick. And accept that. And all we have to do now is go in and put the same threads there that we did with the other. So let's open up the thread modeler. Pitch, 1 inch, fully threaded, yes, yes, and yes. What face do you want to thread? That was the 1/8, right? That is 1/8. 1/8. I just want to make sure because that was the other one, but I'm almost sure that was right. And then what face do you want to do? That face. And yes, that was right, 0.125. And there it is. Okay, so now we have a nut that will supposedly go right onto that bolt that we created. And where have I applied this elsewhere? Well, I went over to my rocket, one of my early rockets that I was fiddling with, this fin tube. I went in here and I created a copy of my fin tube copy. I was in my fin tube, I hit create. If you're in here and you right click, you can hit duplicate, which is what I did, and then this showed up. So now I can mess around, with reckless abandon. I can mess around with this one, and if something bad goes wrong, I can just trash it, try again. But I just came in here and I put threads right there, right? So let me show you what I just did. This I just did. Let me just delete that. So delete those threads. So when I made my copy, it looked just like this. When I made my copy, it looked just like this, and I went up to Thread Tool. Well, first I looked at it, right? I looked right at it, and I went up to my threading tool, and I just chose the pitch 1 millimeter. That's really small. I want these to be nice, big, fat, coarse threads, where just like one rotation, or even a quarter or a half a turn, it goes in nicely, right? So nice pitch. Also, just be easier to print, right? So I didn't do that's the distance between the peaks. 1 millimeter. I did a 3 millimeter pitch. And so I just went like this. I'm just playing. I'm going to mess around with these and get some numbers. But what face do you want to put that on? Oh, fully threaded. No, I don't want it to go all the way up the tube. I just want to go, gosh, I don't know, distance. 25, 35 millimeters. Sure. Why don't we go 35 millimeters? That doesn't say 35, does it? 35 millimeters. Number of starts, distance, the face. What face? That face. And hopefully it'll show up. It did last time. There they are. I feel like I went up farther this time. I might not have gone to 35 last time. Maybe I went 25. 25 looks a little bit different. Thread length, 25 millimeters. Let's see what that looks like. If you click outside of that box, it'll preview it for you. So there it goes, doing the work, doing the hard work for us. There it goes. That's more what I had last time. But there's some threads, and if you take a nice close look, so let's accept that. Now, I don't think it'd be much of a stretch. I mean, if these threads are actually cut decently and as stated, then I don't think it's going to be much. You can see where it starts right here. I don't think it's going to be much of a push just to create a part that screws into there with a big hole in the middle for the engine. I think that's going to be pretty straightforward if we can just get the threads to interact well. Now, we've got to deal with the tolerances and the clearances. But once we get that down, I think we're pretty much going to be there, and we should be printing these things up any day now, any day now. Okay, that's it for this video. I hope it was instructional, and I'm going to put it up on YouTube right about now.